How's it going, everybody? As you guys know, we do this every single week, and I'm going to explain it every single week. We've got a lot of new friends in chat, and they're new to this, so let's explain how it goes. It's technically Sunday when this video comes out, but we record it ahead of time because we're busy. We try to get ahead. Look at that. It's going. Great. It's great to have you here. We're going to do some Q&A. If you guys want to be part of this, 2 easy ways to do it. First and foremost, you can always leave a comment down below, and if you see one you like, give it a like. Also, by asking with a question mark, that really helps. There's some statements that are made that we talk about, but if you actually ask a question, it's a lot easier. But if you leave a question down below, or you can skip the queue, twitch.tv/Lawler, where we stream every day but Tuesday and Sunday, and like sometimes Fridays when we're casting like RLCS stuff. It varies. But you can come over to the stream and I will alternate between both the comments and the comments in chat. So with that said, let's jump over to the other stream, the other screen, and take a look at the YouTube comments and see what we got for this week's Q&A. First on the docket comes from Georgie Porgy. He's got a cute doggo pic. We're gonna give him a heart. It says, in Rocket League Discord, they put an alert looking for beta testers in the US on consoles for an upcoming project. What do you think this may be? Ooh. So I've had a couple people tell me about this, and I don't know what it is. Based upon the replies and stuff I read, apparently it's NDA, and they won't tell me. So I don't know. But it could be a multitude of things. It could be a new feature that they're trying to work on. Maybe something that already exists on PC that they're trying to also bring to console. Maybe it's the beginnings of Unreal Engine 5. That is the hopeful. There could be some pretty cool things in the works. From what I've seen and from what I've talked to the developers, they have a massive whiteboard of ideas. There's tons of things they're working on at any given time. And every once in a while, they just kind of, one that's been in the process for a while gets checked off the box. And they're like, all right, sweet. It could be asking for people to test bugs or something, but there's a lot of Q&A stuff that quality assurance, for those that don't know, that is really, really important that goes into it. And by trusting the community to provide that guaranteed feedback has become more and more prevalent. There's a lot of times as well that you're starting to see them lean in on like content creators and stuff to help with patches and make sure things feel right. How does this look? Which I think is important. I think Sonics has a very dedicated group of people that are like, we want to help. Just tell us. Let us do the things. So I do feel this is one of them that is really, really important. So maybe it's Unreal Engine 5. Maybe it's a feature that they've been working out. Maybe it's something that exists on PC that they don't have. It could just be bug testing. I don't know. But it is cool to see them source it from the Rocket League community on Discord. So interested to see what that is. We'll have to keep tabs on it. If any of you guys know more information, let me know in the comments down below. Next question is going to come from chat. It actually comes from Vaudable. He was the first one I saw ask one at the beginning of the video before chat started flying. He goes, as a caster, content creator, and streamer, what is your typical work schedule like? Existence is pain. I just want to sleep all the time. Jokes aside, I usually wake up about like 9-10 a.m. and get a workout in. Try to stay healthy and provide some energy. Take pre-workout, get a workout in, and then usually make lunch. After lunch, then, if it is not one of those days that I am like not streaming, like Tuesday and Sunday, I will like grind YouTube content, try to figure out, like try to play catch up to make it easier for Wojtek so we get ahead. A lot of it is also just trying to identify what are the things that I need to talk and cover in the next upcoming weeks, which can be a pain in the butt, but that's like an always ongoing process. If it is a day I'm streaming, then I'll stream. I usually stream for like 3 to 5 hours, depending on what we're doing and how things are going. So we usually start about like 1-2 in the afternoon. We go to like 5 or 6, depending. And then if there's other things I have to do that I didn't get to on stream, we will do those after. Various meetings, prep work for different gigs that I'm working. I just put out a post on Instagram to kind of give you guys an idea. If you guys don't follow my Instagram and you want to see more behind the scenes stuff, that's a great place to do it. But to put in perspective, in the last like 6 to 7 weeks, I have done an esports summit in Milwaukee as a panelist. I've done Twitch Rivals Rocket League. I have done an Apex Legends event for G-Loot. I have done the Winter Major for version 1 when we were there. I went to a CDL Major where I did like schmoozing and networking stuff. I went to PAX East for Intel. I did the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup in Atlanta. I've covered multiple day one broadcasts for the RLCS 3 when the time this video comes out. I also did the Gamers Without Borders B stream. Like, there's been a lot of things that I've done, and I try to provide like behind the scenes stuff of me doing it. But those events don't happen naturally. The best example I can give is like the Commissioner's Cup for Collegiate Esports was 64 teams, 4 different titles over 2 days. So I had to learn Smash Brothers, Valorant, Overwatch, and then I knew Rocket League. I've got to learn the 64 different teams that are competing, the nuances to them and stuff like that. That stuff takes time and prep work. That's why commentators get paid, not just for the work that you see immediately, but also the time and effort that it goes into being knowledgeable on broadcast. So that stuff takes up a lot of time off camera that people don't really see or know about. And Vaudable, as a commentator in the scene, in the community, also understands the amount of prep work that goes into reviewing VODs, looking up teams, preparing yourself on gameplay styles. And I do that for, over the last 2 years, has been 14 different titles, some more consistent than others. Like I did a Twitch Rivals like 4 or 5 months ago that was like, hey man, you're gonna do a Diablo 2 Resurrected tournament, and it's speed running, by the way, which completely changes everything you remember about Diablo 2. You've got 4 days to prep. Good luck. And it's like, then you have to learn the nuances that, like, yes, they follow this pathing and they were required to do this skill trait, because if they don't, it doesn't unlock this item that allows you to progress. Also, they only kill elite packs because they give 300% experience. And it's like, that's stupidly useless information that is now forever in my brain. But that's the stuff you prep for, so you can not look like an idiot on camera, which I do anyway, but, you know, here we are. So between the casting stuff and the prep and everything, and then I try to make time for friends, family, stuff like that. So after I'm done with prep work and all that stuff for the day, I usually watch a ton of anime. That's kind of my like me time. I redid my entire living room, so like after a long day, roughly around like 11, 12 at night, unless I have like meetings and stuff going on that I've got to schedule in, that is my like, I'm checked out, I'm off my phone, I'm not paying attention to anything. So usually my typical day is anywhere from like, it varies. Some days I go really hard, some days I'll work like a 16 to 18 hour day, and then other days I'm like, this day is like 6 hours, but then side projects. I'm always working on other side projects. Hopefully some big ones to announce soon for y'all. But yeah, good question, man. Good question. Always on the grind, always working on something. Always got to keep pushing forward. There's a lot of talk about most underrated players, but there are any that you think are overrated or only seem so good because of how well their teammates support them? No. If you guys are new to this channel, something that I say a lot, I don't rate top players. I'd never do individuals because it is such a team-based game. You can see direct impact of a player that many people think is underrated or not good go to a new team and they're immediately impactful. It happens all the time. So I try not to say any particular player is overrated because it is the sum of the parts. It is a truly team effort. I do think there are some players that don't get enough credit because of that, because they are overshadowed by the flashy mechanical stuff. But there are some players that do the intangibles and stuff. The stuff that I'm a sucker for, that I really like, is stuff like that. But I don't know if there's any certain players that are like overrated. I think there's players that are definitely more popular. I think there's players that are definitely more sought after because they, you know, like the First Killers of the world that always do the thing. But First Killer is also arguably probably the best player, if not one of the best players in North America. So like, I don't know if overrated is ever a thing. I think there's usually a reason for it. So I think that comes with it and part of the territory. So it goes both ways, I guess. It varies a lot. Do you think teams like Moist that rely a lot on individual talent potential rather than consistent team play will ultimately be too reliant or not having off days like we say last weekend? Believe it or not, Crazy, Moist actually relies a lot on team plays, and a lot of it comes down to the communication. As long as the vibes are good, I think Moist will continue to be successful. I think this new wave of generation of talent coming in is so mechanically talented. They don't feel the consequence. They're so confident in what they do. And it's unbelievable to see how that's played out and how that's derived. Part of the reason why is I think they just don't understand the concept. I don't know what it is. In the past, my opinions were like, yo, mechanics and stuff on land, people don't perform as well as they used to because there's a lot of pressure. And this new wave of talent just doesn't feel it. That's why I was so strong about, yeah, watch out for Queso/Moist. Rise is going to be the best performer, like all that kind of stuff, is because I saw the transition when we saw it in fall. Like, I'll make statements, but I'll recognize and see the trends otherwise, and then I'm allowed to change my opinion, even though it's up there forever. But I try to correct myself, especially when I recognize it going the other way, and that mechanical side of things is the other way. But the talent and potential, I don't think is going to drop off anytime soon. While, yes, they may have off days and it may not be like peak performance, the other side of things is the fact that they do a lot of team-based plays. A lot of the times, there is a player that will call that they're faking before they even go up for the aerial to provide a free shot to their other player who's waiting in wing. That stuff is a team play. It may not look like a pass that we're used to or identified as a standard, but it is there. They are definitely working as a team. Those team plays and that communication is super important. So I do feel they're going to continue to be successful, and every team has off days. It happens. Not everybody plays perfect. That is the human element. But it is crazy to see, especially in a region that has so much depth, teams like BDS and Moist continue to show consistency. It's actually very impressive. It will be even more impressive when we see that from season to season. That's why BDS is regarded as one of the best, because they crushed RLCS X, and in season 21-22, they're also playing pretty dang well, and arguably with Seiko look even better now. So that is something that we only have technically 2 years of history with this current format. When we get like 5 years and 6 years and start to extrapolate like the information and the data that comes with it, that's what I'm really excited about. It's just we're still very young as an esport in the grand scheme of things. Perp Drank says, do you think we'll ever go back to doing their broadcasts in studio for the RLCS, or do you realize they can do everything remotely and not spend money on things like flying talent out to the studio? I think Psyonix has recognized that it's kind of like a remedy for right now. What I actually hope happens, right? What I really hope happens is that Psyonix recognizes that they have way too much broadcast talent to do it in person, and they make an NA and an EU studio. They are starting to put these guys on salary and pay them handsomely, but they're also giving them time off because it is a lot of Rocket League. Some of these guys like Dazzler do First Touch, RLCS, and everything else on top of it. It's like the guy needs some time to breathe, you know? So for those circumstances, I hope they do an NA and an EU studio and they can separate, so it's not every weekend, it's every other weekend. And with having a partner like ESL, I do think having those studio capabilities are there. It's just right now the world's kind of in turmoil. We're still dealing with the whole COVID situation and everything else, and who knows when any of that stuff is going to change. But right now, being able to do stuff online, there's a feeling that is missed, and anybody who went to the major in winter knows that feeling. Like anybody who was there in person recognizes how important it is to have that interaction in person for commentators. Casting online sucks in comparison to in person. There's delays. It's tough to do like verbal and body language cues. Like the presentation lacks compared to what it is. I do feel like they will go back in studio at some point. What that's going to look like, when that's going to be, who knows? The crazy thing too with regionals is they may be able to just make those dream hacks. So we'll see. We will see. But I do think they'll do it in time. But I think for right now, obviously they are doing what they can to conserve and still translate a good broadcast despite the fact that it is all online. So not everybody has Riot Games money and can just make it happen. So pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. Question for Q&A. Should people subscribe to your YouTube channel? That is entirely up to them. If they're here and they like the content, consider doing it and turning on notifications. Appreciate it. How do you avoid filler words when presenting or commentating examples? Like, etc. Take your time. This is something that took a long time for me. Because I have that Midwestern dialect, that's where I'm from, we just word vomit. We talk very, very quickly. And most people say a sign of intelligence is by taking your time. If you go and watch any major podcast with a high public figure or high profile like figure, someone like Bill Gates, look how long it takes Bill Gates to respond to answers, because he knows that every little thing he says is going to be under scrutiny. So he pauses, he digests the information, he internalizes it, he understands what he's saying, and then he expresses it. And it's okay to take a little bit of time to give that response. Most people will identify that as a sign of intelligence, because it shows you are listening, consuming that information, understanding it to a fine level, and then expressing an answer. So the biggest thing I can say with filler words is, one, it takes time and experience. The other thing is take your time responding. It's okay. A lot of people are afraid of white noise and blank spaces in conversation. It's fine. It really is. Same thing applies to commentary. A lot of people are afraid of letting things and moments breathe. It adds atmosphere. It creates this emotion that's super important. So the biggest thing with filler words, just take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush a conversation. Between Falcons, BDS, G2, and Energy, who do you think is the better team all around, who has the best chance at winning the world championships? Personally, right now, I think BDS is just getting started. I think there is a lot of potential in that team that we have yet to see. Their peaks are unbelievable. When they are vibing, I don't know anybody that can beat that team. I think G2 has solidified themselves as a top-tier roster. I think they're doing a lot of really good things, both offense, and they've really shored up their defense. Their defense has impressed me more and more every single regional I see. And they still have the creativity on offense to do some things that excite me. I'm surprised you don't put Moist in this conversation either. Falcons, I haven't seen enough of, and I've never seen them with their starting roster on LAN. While we do think there's a lot of potential, I personally can't put faith in Falcons higher than top 4. Just because I haven't seen it. I have reservations for them. As for Energy's in a really unique circumstance. I never want to count them out. but I do think there is still the desire to make sure that they are building upon a new style that they're trying to develop. And quite honestly, we have seen this in the past where a team looks a little bit iffy. They start to get form at the biggest moment. Right now, if this video comes out on Sunday, we will see how far along Energy has made it into the bracket. Have they qualified for the Spring Major? I don't know. We're recording this on Thursday. This video will come out on Sunday. And there is a chance that Energy has kind of identified it. I've heard whispers from people that they're looking really good in scrims. Will that translate to the live environment? Will they be able to recreate this play style of fast, aggressive, more risky in terms of putting on pressure? Or are they going to, go back to what is tried and true, the consistency, the thing that has carried them for so long? I don't know. I think the fact that you put Energy in that conversation also shows, despite their recent performances, that you can't really ever count them out. So personally, I think BDS looks really, really good. They look exceptional. I am surprised you don't put Space Station in that conversation. I'm surprised you don't put Moist in that conversation. But BDS, I think right now looks pretty scary. So excited to see how that one goes. Phoenix asks, how do you think UE5 may affect current programs such as Baccasmod along with the Steam Workshop maps? What are my predictions on new possibilities from the update to the new engine? The UE5 update can bring a lot of things, and it's more so being hopeful without, kind of building it up to this thing that we don't like. I don't know what Cynix's plans are for UE5, but I've seen the potential of what UE5 can do, and it's unbelievable. When you put out a new program, all the things that pre-exist right now, like Baccasmod is made for Unreal Engine 3. They're going to have to rebuild that whole thing. And there is potential that with some of the features that they bring into UE5, you may not need it. The only thing that Baccasmod does provide is like item swapping and stuff like that. The ability to use items you don't have as placeholders and everything else. Visual updates. The Steam Workshop stuff, I don't know if UE5 is going to support it. I don't know if it's going to be for Epic only launcher or what's going to happen there. And hopefully, all the maps that are made in the Steam Workshop are made for Unreal Engine 3, so they're going to have to be remade from scratch anyway. And I hope there's a pairing of a creative mode that makes that more simple. For Lethemir, all those maps that he's made will not translate over. He's going to have to rebuild them all from scratch, which, although frustrating, could also be very exciting because it is a new engine, it's a new project, it's something exciting that he can do. Second wave, I think Lethemir, if he starts learning Unreal Engine 5 and really gets into it, the possibilities of what he may make, or anybody for that matter, could be very exciting. The other side of it too is if they make a creative mode that's accessible to more people, competition breeds excellence. I'm excited to see what happens, what top maps people come up with. There's some very creative people in this community that don't make maps because it is complicated. So Unreal Engine 5, I think the possibilities are endless. I put out a video saying Unreal Engine 5 will change gaming. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's one of my most viewed. And I stand by that. There is some things that they implement into that engine that just simplifies everything. I can't even begin to think about what the possibilities could be because there's people that are smarter and way more creative than I am that are going to come up with something that is just groundbreaking. I'm so excited for this next generation of gaming and what it can look like. I highly recommend go and do some Googling and look up Unreal Engine 5. Go watch the videos. Go watch some of the things that these people have made. There is this one team that put out, they had like 60 days to make a bunch of different projects. And those types of things are going to showcase what is the potential for this game. And how that translates and correlates to Rocket League, I don't know. I'm so excited to see what it turns into, but I don't know what that's going to be. And that excites me. It excites me a lot. There's so much potential with this new engine that when Rocket League goes to it eventually, and that may be 2 years, 3 years, 10 years from now, I don't know. But when it does inevitably happen, from what we've heard, sky's the limit. It's so exciting to think about what it could be. Bringing, like people are saying in chat, a Halo Forge, custom games mode like Warcraft 3, which is what I grew up on. Stuff like that, a creative mode from Fortnite. If they bring that same kind of customization over and there's like hubs and stuff that you can do, which I talked about clubhouses. If you guys don't remember or haven't seen my tweet, we'll be doing a video on that in the future here soon. But the concept of having like a lobby or a hub where you and people can play in and experiment was there's so much that they could do. I'm really looking forward to it. So sky's the limit, man. I wish I could even fathom what it's gonna look like, but I think there's so much potential that when that update comes, I'm just ready to hold reservation, but be optimistic about it and see what it turns into. Last question, which we showed in the YouTube video, comes from Loose Moose. It says, hey, Lawler, haven't heard about any anime you're watching in a while. Got any shows that you like this season? Yeah, quick personal thing. I watch way too much anime every split. Let me go through the list. Skeleton Knight and Another World's been okay. Rising Shield Hero's been kind of meh for season 2. Shikamori's is alright. Greatest Demon Lord is Reborn as typical nobody's been kind of meh. Kaguya-sama, Love is War season 3's been fantastic. Haran-san's okay. Trapped in a Dating Sim, I didn't really like Villainess, and Trapped into Dating Sim's been pretty good. Love After World Domination's kind of goofy. Love All Plays good. Aoashi by IG, the production IG. They have been crushing the soccer anime. Spy Family is probably everybody's favorite. Tomodachi Game, In the Heart of Kunoichi, Tsubaki has been all right. It's about like a ninja village where there's no guys, and like guys are taboo. And a couple others that I still need to start. So I try to dabble here and there and watch what I can, but there's always a bunch. If you guys check out our anime on the subreddit, they usually have like a top rated, and those are pretty good to go off of. It's just there's so many streaming services now, even with Crunchyroll and Funimation merging because Sony bought them both. There's still more that just keep popping up. So there's a ton. Yeah, Birdie Wing I hear is good. It's basically like waifus playing golf. Like whatever you're into, but plenty of good questions. This one's going a little bit longer. Nothing wrong with that. Good questions from everybody in chat. Appreciate you guys all being here for it. But that's going to wrap it for this week's Q&A. If you guys have additional questions that you'd like me to answer, as always, leave them in the comments down below. If you see any you like, make sure you guys give those a thumb up so they go to the top. But that is going to do it here. If you guys enjoy the content, as always, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, trying to hit 50K. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.